Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Willis Wit and Wisdom. We've come to the end of 2020, which is the year that we started doing these episodes. I think
Mhm.
uh, we actually started it, Dad, because of the COVID lockdown. And
Right.
um,
Mhm.
2020 has just
And
been a strange year, and that's an
mhm.
understatement. But
Right.
um, Looking at 2020, how would you, what perspective do you have on it? What's your take on it? What advice can we give
Mhm.
folks as they look back
Mhm.
at 2020?
Right. I made the statement this week that the most worthless possession I had this past year was my calendar because everything I had on my calendar had a mark through it. And I seldom opened my calendar because everything was canceled. And probably people can relate to that because they had all these plans for 2020 and it kept getting canceled and changed and we couldn't get close to people. And so everyone's schedule changed. And I've always thought that life should be lived in pencil because it does change. And this was a really good example of that through 2020. And I look back over 2020 and I see some things that I had planned that did not work out. They did not work out. It was, I'm the sculptor to Passion Play in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. And so we were allowed to have the play this year on a limited basis. Of course, it's outdoors. Seating was every other row, and so our crowd was usually down half. This had been building up to be one of the best years in 2020, and that just turned upside down. But God was faithful and saw us through it. No sickness, no COVID through that, and actually turned out to be a very good year there at the Passion Play. A lot of lives came through, a lot of people were touched, but that was not the way we had it planned, and those plans went away. So we're replanning, and now for 2021, we even have even greater plans as we step into this. But the realization that everything we have planned might not happen. Okay, might not happen. We have to be prepared for that part too.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2020 has caused me to, one of the good things that came out of 2020 for me is it made me slow down. It made me
Mm-hmm.
stop. It made me assess and evaluate and take a look at um, the things that I'm doing professionally and personally. And so it made me sit down and
Mm-hmm.
rest and stop for a season.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Same here. In fact, it's caused me to take better care of myself, be more aware of myself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, every aspect. It caused me to look inside for a while because everything had to slow down and I wasn't busy reaching out and going. And yet there's a transition time, just like you say, Eric, that we've, because of the pandemic, we decided, all of our events were canceled. So let's try to figure out a way to get the message across. And that's what brought about this Willis Wit and Wisdom. So we're finding other ways to reach out and to touch people. And I think people can do that. They can be innovative in some areas to reach out, bring a message that they have, and share it with others. So I think it opens some doors for that also.
yeah, absolutely. In 2020 for me, it was really life changing and life altering because I had been on pastoral staff for over 20 years and
Mm-hmm.
17 years at this one church. And in August, I stepped out of that church pastorate and started Reclaim Leadership, a nonprofit ministry. And so, what do you do at the beginning of a pandemic? You go ahead and quit your job and start a nonprofit ministry. And
Sure.
so it makes complete sense, right? No,
Right, right.
but it's just like God, and He has been absolutely faithful
Mm-hmm.
to provide our ministry team support, financial partners with the ministry, and that's an ongoing
Mm-hmm.
pursuit. But He's been faithful. 2020 changed the way that I do ministry, so my business has changed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Recalibration retreats are kind of the bread and butter, and what I really love to do is go to these pastors and these missionaries, these ministry leaders, where they are to encourage them, to give them an infusion of hope for a one-day recalibration retreat so that they can stay the course of ministry. And
Mm-hmm.
that's traveling, that's on the road kind of thing, and that shut down pretty quickly.
Right, right, rightfully so.
And absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to 2021, we're hoping to see that open back up and those recalibration retreats begin to get scheduled again. But in the meantime, we switched to doing Zoom coaching and working with different pastors and interns and residents in ministry,
Mm-hmm.
providing coaching and mentoring over Zoom type stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Right, I'm aware, because of my background as a pastor, I'm aware of the needs that the pastors have faced in the past, but this is all new to many of them because they're struggling whether to keep the church open or close it. And, they're dealing with so much sickness and so much death. And so it's a new area for them. And so they need an outlet, a place to go, someone to communicate. And like you say, use that word coaching. We all need coaching at times in our lives. And so I think that's excellent to keep that message going. The way I see it, Eric, is our ministries have elevated to a new level in the sense of need. So many needs around us. I do not see it as something that's gone by the wayside, but it's almost like we're called to step it up a little bit more. And the area of grief work that I do, my goodness, there's so many hurting people, so many people with broken hearts that are grieving, and not only grieving the death, but grieving the changes they're going through and the loss of relationships and jobs and finances, so many areas of grief. And so I see where I need to step up my game in 2021. And that's what I plan to do.
Yep, absolutely. And you and I both already have some things on the calendar that we'll be doing in 2021. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing I'm excited about is talking to a group of international leaders that are being brought together for a Zoom conference. And so as a keynote speaker in that, I have the opportunity, and I've been asked to give insight on and teach about how to deal with the conflict that the pandemic has created.
Good subjects. Yep. Because it's not a matter of if it has, it's how do I deal with it? It already has. Yes.
And the first step is acknowledging that it has and seeing where it has. And so I'll be presenting that at the end of January and doing some other conflict work throughout the year and teaching. I'm planning 2021. I'm planning to put a course together that goes through my book, Sacred Conflict. So there will be an online course that people can take as they go through the book.
Wonderful.
A lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah, and I think we'll be making an announcement before long about a joint venture that we're working on that I think could be valuable for a lot of people. I'm working on, I can't get the details of it, but a large sculpture project that's been proposed to me that I'm excited about it. In the midst of all the grief stuff I do, there's a balance of being the creative part too. And so that area has some positive steps in this year of 2021. I'm really excited about it. And I'll be sharing more about it as it develops. And it's in the pencil stage right now. And so we start engraving it a little bit. We'll start sharing it. But really, what I ask people to do for us, Eric, is people to pray for us.
Absolutely.
I'm serious. Pray for us in our ministries, because 2020 was a beginning of a ministry here that we have through Willis Wit and Wisdom, and then also our personal ministries. 2021 is going to open the door even wider. I see so many avenues of ministry touching people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And that's a great segue into the end of it. This time flew, and talking about the losses of 2020 and the excitements of 2021. What's a nugget of wisdom that we can leave with some folks as they think through and making this transition? Here it is, New Year's. Dad, any words of wisdom?
Well, I would encourage people to intentionally leave 2020 where it is. Don't drag all the garbage over into 2021. Let's look for a fresh start, some new goals, some new initiatives, and start off telling positive things to people. And we start off that way in 2021. We don't have to bring the garbage with us. Sure, there's awareness of all that, but we don't have to live in it. So let's open it up a little bit. Look for the sunshine in 21.
Love it. Love it. Sunshine in 21. And I would say, as you evaluate 2020 and you look back, be gracious toward yourself and toward others. And then as you look back at, let's see, as you look back at 2020, be gracious. As you look forward to 2021, be bold, and do some things that you didn't anticipate that you would, or you put off for a while. And just not sure if this is the time to do it. Just be bold and step into that. And don't create regrets, but have opportunities, make opportunities for yourself and step into those.
Absolutely. Good words. Yep.
All right. Love you, Dad. It's great to see you. And folks, thanks for being with us on this episode of Willis Wit and Wisdom. We will catch you in the new year, 2021.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.